Broadcast live.
There's no cap.
Fito Docha Maglera. Oh yeah, we're 25. How the street kids in the game. What a time, what a time. Skinny niggas inside. In the trap, I'm a titan. Zangief with the bars, but I move like I'm biting.
What's up?
What up, bro?
How you doing, my bro?
I'm chilling, cousin. Shabuzi.
Sure. Yo, thanks for
What's-
finally making it. You know, I've been trying
For
to,
sure.
I've been trying to get a hold of you, man. You know.
For sure. Shout out that nigga Theo, you know, he's a good like in between man.
Yeah,
He's the plug.
He's been connecting us. Where I come
For
through,
sure.
making it happen, man. You know.
Yeah,
Where you at?
he a shooter. I'm in the trenches, you know, running a little business. We moving what the community needs. Couple of essentials. Couple of essentials for the block, you know. Niggas gotta hit my jack if they trying to get a little more wear or something.
So what are you doing? How you delivering all the stock? Where are you getting the stock from?
Ah, man, you know I'm playing, dog. I ain't about to tell you none of that. You about to get niggas hit by Fiki Lembalula on the line. It's a real business, but it's not me, you know?
Ugogo always buys in bulk. And for me, it's a first. But now I get it. You see, Ugogo saves more by buying more. Now, this is a habit I'll keep once this ends because even these small savings make a difference. What habits will you be keeping?
I'm at the bando, so I'm not about to like drop local.
You ain't dropping location.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hey, man. Joe, so it's so dope, man. I've actually been watching and listening to a lot of things that you've been saying. Obviously, like the first time I really got to catch you was on the joint with Kulichana like a while ago. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You literally like were coming in hot and then you kind of disappeared real quick. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think it was too early, no cap.
It was too
I
early.
think, yeah, I think it was a launch that had no plan for after the launch. Like, okay, once we put them out like this, we just had something hard, and he was like, "Yo, bro, I'm dropping this," and I was like, I think I should have had like the follow up to that, and I could have capitalized dope, but because of what was happening, but we'll get more into what was happening like here at home, my boys losing half the crew, etc. You know, was a lot of shit. Yo, I'm seeing mad love. What up, Willie? ONDE be the set. Yeah, that's for sure, nigga.
You know, a lot of people literally like don't know your story. I mean, you talk a lot of sit stuff. You talk a lot of trap stuff. You know,
For sure.
And right now it's difficult to tell what's real and what's not real. you
And
know,
what's
'cause-
not, yeah.
and everybody's talking that sit stuff, that trap stuff, that
For
that
sure.
gang stuff, or that like
For sure.
affiliation stuff, or I don't know. You know, it's just so confusing that like for me, it
I mean,
becomes
I
like
feel like it's an aesthetic now because of mainstream media. So anyone who is commercial can speak on it because of the jargon. People will sometimes call just their homies the sit, and they'll call someone who's not real with them an op because that's what now the slang means, you know. But I think the real no, you know. I think the real no. I think that's why you get like a me and a 25. I think that's why you get me and an MT linking because of coming from like that background where you're seeing stuff like that and you're like, if not in it, the closest to it, so you can become like a mouthpiece of a sort for that culture.
because you know one of the things that I like, something that really kind of ticks me off, take for instance, is that I know that guys, rappers or whatever, there's always this social media beef, and I'm always
Yeah,
like, I don't ever want to get involved in a beef because I know how beefs ends. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Like, you know, and you don't want to get yourself involved in the depths of what a real beef is. So
Yeah,
if
real
you're
beef
not
is
gonna
on site. It's not even a tweet. You know, most niggas will shut up and just wait till they see you real life. Be like, yo, what's up, my boy?
shit, sorry, my bad. Sorry, man. That's
What's up?
your shit. That's your choice.
That's that young, you know. That's that young. What up, bro? I ain't even trying to tell y'all the name yet. I just want you to play it up until, up until we leak. Then I'll give you the name. Then you can like showcase it properly.
Yo, straight. We gonna get this on for the exclusive because I've been hitting you up on some. Yo, you gotta hit me up with some fire out here. You know
For
what I mean?
sure. For sure.
What's the transition been like though? Because you literally like obviously do come from a background that like that is a foundation of a lot of this trap
A
stuff,
street
as you would
culture.
say.
Yeah.
This
And
culture. How,
I
how
mean,
do
in a
you
nutshell, if I was like telling it to like anyone, I would say I'm like a day-to-day South African kid. I'm like the kid next door who your moms can say, yo, call him so he can come help with the DSTV, or yo, my son's not here, can you come take out the bin? I mean, there's always been respect because we're township kids and we come from Africa. We're not like Americans. So I feel like we don't gravitate at the same level of craziness as them in terms of what they're willing to do in street culture. I feel like South Africa is third world, so we must like divide everything three times. Like the dope game is probably three times slower than in America, just like the music and everything else. And in terms of the street culture here, I feel like you come here to where I live, you bump into like a real gangster rappers too. Niggas who do like gangster shit and they rap about it. And now those are the gents that we rapped with, but because we didn't want to be in it as deep as them, we just went into like freelance pharmaceuticalism, or if we can call it that, township pharmacist culture. Because as much as substances are substances, right? People use them for recreational purposes, but like you get like weed, people get it because maybe like they got flu or something. And it also comes from that, just knowing that like sometimes this nigga needs to smoke some weed and I'm the dude who he can come get it by for free, or in a safe environment because maybe he doesn't want to go to like a certain area. That's the service we offered. But I never sold drugs to black kids. I sold black kids weed, but I never sold niggas drugs. That was like everyone else. I won't lie. It was a very slow. If it's gonna happen to us like this in the hood, we might as well just pump it back in town.
Yeah, yeah. Check it out though. My thing is that like, the industry is not built for this type of rawness, and this type of
For sure.
honesty, and also this type of stories. How do you see
For sure.
yourself navigating in this game? Um Beyond like guys like us who literally like, I mean, I ain't sell no weed, I ain't sell nothing, but like I'm
Yeah,
from a place where I know people. Do you know what I
for
mean?
sure.
So and I know how things go and end. But like how you gonna navigate this industry?
I
What's the plan to navigate this industry with this stuff that you're coming in with?
I feel like obviously the story of how I come in is not the same as how I'm gonna leave the game.
Mm.
My biggest reference is always Hove. I love Hove. So it's like he's like the blueprint. Even age wise, I feel like I'm like a late bloomer in the game, but the quality that I'm gonna bring into the game because of my late blooming is top tier. I've had a lot of time to take it from a JC LaRue to like a Moe. You understand? So it's the same with the raps. I feel like the content is gonna change. My next project, the one that's gonna drop now, is like it's as gully as it gets. You know what I mean? But I feel like I have to give they understand where the next is coming. And when I'm done with this follow up, I've been doing it at Sliqe's place, and I'm doing the other half here in Maglera because I'm in Maglera right now, right? So when I'm done with this follow up, I call it God Mob. It's God level artistry. So everyone who's on it, from the beat makers to the artists, is like they giving me apex everything. Like Frank Casino gave me some of the hardest bars I've ever heard from like a Frankie on the type of record that we did. I thought he was gonna come through, auto tune Frankie, but he was like, nah, I'm with Maglera, so I'm a I'm a box. And that's another thing I feel like I'm gonna bring into the game. I make a lot of dudes rap that you wouldn't expect to, like, even J Molly, his shit is crazy on this project. We did a grime record even because I see everyone's doing drill, but I always used to say to people, trap is gonna die, and people are gonna gravitate more to like the sounds that are like the same as trap in terms of energy, but not the same sounds. So in terms of the type of stories that I have now, my life is changing, and the stories that are in the music now are not the same as the stories that are in the music that you guys are about to receive, because now that is me coming from where I'm from, you know? And this project that I'm gonna drop now, it starts with the darkness, because I was making this project in an RDP house. You know what I mean? I was making this project when the gang wars in my hood were the craziest. I was making this project when my affiliation with the craziest of niggas at home was like really crazy. Like I couldn't go to certain neighborhoods. People thought I was in a certain gang. So some niggas were like, nah, if we see Doe Boy, we're gonna clap him. You understand? And it's like I just had to like find purpose in the music first, which is now what am I doing with all the link ups with all these gangs in the hood? Because I'm cool with like all of like the top ones in my hood. So I started this thing of like linking up with them to say, yo, gents, why don't we open like a really big gang that protects the hood? And right now it's still like an idea, right? But it's like that's where the vision is going, you know. When you look at like a K Dot, when you look at like a Ice Cube, you know, that's like the blueprint I'm following. I'm trying to like commercialize street culture, but at the same time not come through with it undiluted, because when it's too raw, they can't digest it. It's a 3-course meal that I have to like see how I open and how I end. So it's like good for the palate, even though it is what it is.
That's incredible. Do you have one things I want to say is that if you do keep growing, you know, how do you also stay relevant? You know, the more you start traveling, the more you start like the more the success of music translates to something that makes you not be in the trap for as long as you can be. How do
Yeah.
you also like how do in your head how do you have to have that dual kind of personality that's going to allow you to still stay like the guy that like hasn't changed, you know? I mean, how are you
I
going to
feel like
maintain that,
my
you know, when you get there?
I feel like my fountain of youth in terms of my creativity will always be Maglera, because it is a cesspool of culture, you know? Every time I come home, there's something new for me to put into the music. Every time I come home, the old heads who teach me about this gang culture and where it comes from, just me going back in time, the more I go back in time, is the more I have content for the present, you know? And then in terms of like, what the game always becomes, because it's always shifting. You know, I have a lot of fun musically, so I don't think I'll ever run out of sounds to fuck with. Like there's so many layers to this onion that is Maglera Doe Boy that people still don't know, that they get shocked when they hear me go uh fetsa o fitlha like binekolo boleng jaka. Yeah.
Mm.
And then straight after that, people will hear me go, I'm by the bodega. That's a crazy contrast, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
having both of those sides allows for me to only say, okay, if this is too much right now, let me just go into this side, you know? But I've
Mm.
been learning as it's been going. I don't want to lie. Right now, I'm just like having a lot of fun with it. Like I'm enjoying the fact that what can I say? I'm enjoying the fact that I understand that there's so much I can do, you know. I'm not scared uh creatively as a brand. That's the stuff that I'm still learning, you know. That's the stuff that I'm still like saying, I'm linking up with dudes who can say like, yo, can we link you up with a brand like this? And then back in the day, I would go there really hard headed to say, yo, I'm from Maglera, so y'all better not have me on no cheesy ass, you know, Josie shit. Versus like spending 3 years in the boardrooms with like a coolie and seeing like, oh shit, there's a lot that actually goes into a brand linking up with an artist. So making that balance happen needs like an understanding of one, what the artist is, and two, the artist knowing what the brand is, so they know where they can like find that equilibrium, you know. So when I think about stuff like that, I feel like business Dope Boy is still coming. Right now, I wanna enjoy the music so that I can like really go into the element of what type of artist am I gonna become. But when I'm going into now, okay, the people have the product and they're enjoying it so much, and I can pull back and say, okay, what are the steps that I'm taking to like now maintain relevance? Because I think people stay hot when they come out, you know, and then after that, you have to now know what's gonna make them keep coming back to you, besides what made you hot when you dropped.
Mm. Mm. That's dope. That's dope. I mean, I like the fact that like, you know, you've got a whole mind of where you want to take this, but like obviously Maglera, wherever you go, I mean, real
Edge.
with you, wherever you go, your the folks that literally have carried you, the folks that carry that nine and make the DJ play your song, you know.
Yeah,
They're always gonna want you to take them with you wherever you go, and
for sure.
you're gonna have to learn to balance how you keep them at bay, so you don't scare the people who are so called
Like
like
the core market. So another thing about the transition that is the MDB that you guys were introduced to is it was a very experimental time in my life sound wise, and that's why I keep saying that this project that has Bodega is me on drum and bass. It's me on different sounds for a township kid. You would never expect the kid coming from a township like where I come from in the Northwest to jump on sounds like that, where I'm doing a collab with like a drum and bass producer from Cape Town and subs, and that's the intro of the tape, and it's called what is this? It's called Game Over. That's how I start the tape. When you insert the coin, when you're about to play two player, first record is called Game Over. Second song is called Mortal Kombat, where I'm talking about the gang culture in my hood. But the way I made it so cinematic, it still makes for the kid in the suburbs to digest, you know? But the griminess is exactly what it is here, you know what I mean? So I'm just excited for how people are gonna receive it, bro. Like, no one sounds like me. None of my music sounds like anything that's out.
No.
The music is 3 years old, but it's like still relevant right now. So I think we Gucci. We Gucci like designer.
It's relevant because it doesn't sound like anything, you know. I think that you one of those artists who I would actually put in the same bracket, and without it offending you, if it's gonna offend you, but you one of those same artists that I is like a Malum Cool Cat, you know what I
For
mean?
sure.
Like
For sure.
there's
I've
no,
heard that a lot from people.
yeah, there's no, except he's the Zulu version of it, you know what I mean? It's there's no kind of I'd say you don't have a template. You create it, you know, and you literally creating the template of the sound, you know.
Yes,
So
we're
I was
bringing a
actually listening.
culture. So in a culture, there is so much, you know. It's like it's slang, it's clothing, it's how we compose ourselves, you know. It's as simple as me being the first dude in my hood to get a grill, and the amount of pop culture I'm bringing here, where street niggas are gonna start buying grills, and that's the new flex to say, "Aight, man, I see you shining, but what's up with your teeth, though?" You know. I feel like I'm Mike Jones. I am Paul Wall. I am Swisher House when they came out in the country. You know, I am like Nelly when he came out for country music. I am like Luda when he came out for country music. But the other thing that might fuck up the game is the fact that I still got bars, you know? There's an R&B dope boy, you know, who could like just come through like straight, just like R&B, a Kalaza for the girls, one tall. And then there's
Yeah.
like street dope boy who could like just go schoolboy Q for an entire project. And then there's the most important element, which is the conscious element, which is the rapper I have always been, whether it's street raps or club raps, there'll always be a conscious element in the music, you know? The movement is called ONDE. It stands for Organized Nubian Divine Entities. And we have decided that the palette for the movement mustn't even be, how can I say, one way with the hip hop, you know? We got house, we got really different sounds. I don't want to like tell niggas about the rest, but like, you know, we got mad different sounds. So it's very Rockefeller-esque. So I'm trying to have fun with this. I don't want to lie. Like I know I got bars, so I'm not trying to like put myself in a corner where it's like bars, bars, bars. It's like what can I do overall for music in this country as long as we're changing the standard of what people think is like top tier, you know?
Do you feel that like everything worked for the better? Because I mean, I don't think you'd be getting this type of let's say like when I first heard you with Kuli, I don't think you'd be getting this type of reception and even patience for people to understand what you were coming with. So do you think that like things actually happen for the better for you to actually find yourself and actually like present yourself the way you want to present yourself? Obviously, and when you're looking for support, it's support that's very much based on I know this is what I need, so this is the type of help I'm looking for.
For sure. I feel like everything happened for a reason, bro. I tell you, one of my favorite conversations with Kuli was after he was like, yo, little bro, you are gonna be one of the biggest things in Africa because you are really like fucking special, you know? And he drilled that in my mind up until he could see me starting to believe in myself so much that like it wasn't like when we met. Because when we met, I had the bars, you know, I had the potential, but I still didn't have that thing to see with the foresight of like someone who's been in it enough to understand that you could do this bigger than all of us in terms of first me representing Motswako now, you know, because I am also like one of the last born kids in Motswako who is like now frontier or about to be frontier for Motswako, you know, and we are coming with a subgenre of Motswako. So I am now representing a genre and an entire different sound that comes from a totally different side of that genre, you know. Maglera has it has a little bit of influence in Motswako. When you think about Todi, and Todi used to live in Maglera, and you listen to a Morafe song, right? And Todi always had that gangstanyana element, you know? Now, when you go into a me, it's like, oh, so this is that side of Motswako that we are still yet to hear, you know? And then when I'm seeing like how well I learned how to refine the sound over the years, you know, because there was a point where people were like, bro, we like your voice and we like the flows, but like, what are you saying, you know? And then I really had to sit and say, okay, how do I make them like digest the prawns, but like easily, you know? How do I make them be able to have the prawns with the pop? Because I'm still in the trenches, you know
I
what I
love
mean?
it.
And then once you just perfect how to cook it, obviously you can serve it. So I'm not rushed for time, bro. I feel like if it's good, it's good, you know? Bodega is like 4 years old. Even now, today, this tweet saying, yo, bro, how did I only find out about the song today? You know, about DJs who we sent it to who were sleeping on it, even though me and Cooley pushed, you know, like Cooley really went to door, you know. He went door to door, he went to the TV stations to say, yo, man, this is hot, please play this. And I feel like even now it's still yet to catch fire because one, it is something that they have never consumed. So how do you introduce something that people have never consumed up until you know how to package it and really move it? You understand?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's different. The sound is called strata. You know, when I'm doing the R&B, I call it R&DB, rhythm and debradas. And then there's just other sounds that we'll see. But because of all those sounds and the how can I say the fountain of youth, which is Maglera in terms of inspiration, I'm not I'm not pressed for time. I feel like I am at my most how can I say, I'm at my most sharpest if I was a sword right now than back then. And had I dropped back then, maybe I could have messed it up. Maybe I wouldn't have followed up dope. Maybe I would have disappeared and never came back. Versus me now coming and saying, yo, Sliqe, I'm gonna drop this many albums. And a couple of weeks later, you see the shit with 25K and it's really what it is, you know? And I just got the masters for 2 player, which is why I was able to send you this little surprise record, you know? So I
Yes,
could
sir.
just drop a date on niggas anytime. And what I've been doing with Sliqe is crazy. I'm not even gonna put a date on that, but I could just fuck up niggas with that anytime too. And the other two. You understand? So we
Yeah.
Gucci, bro. I just wanna drop a lot of music. I'll see what the people say.
And you know, you one thing that really, really, really surprised me is how articulate you are. You know what I mean?
For sure.
When a person sees you, you kind of like you almost shrink yourself to a certain extent. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
But when you talk, you just like become this giant. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's a
Just
it's a
like
play, bro. I won't lie, it's a play. Like it comes from even in my youth. I was always like the shortest ones with my friends. You know, I was the puny one. I was the one who got picked on a lot, which is why I decided to affiliate myself with the type of dudes I did, because that was just me. Now playing chess. You understand? I was a very small pawn, but like I wanted that back position of being a king, and I understood that if I can't do it with the brawn, I must do it with the brains. You know. So when that happened, I was like, I know the finesse going into the game is me saying I sold drugs, but you don't see a tattoo on me. You know, I mean, I sold drugs, but I'm not a hooligan. You understand? We in the ghetto, but we sipping mimosas in the morning, my nigga. That contrast is what I've always wanted people to see, so that they can never class an artist too. So it's like they can never say a dope boy looks like this, because a dope boy doesn't look like anything. A dope boy could be anyone, you know? There's parents here in the hood selling weed, bro. You pull up there, bashibile isibaya ra, magrize no gaola magwinyo no ati, but they selling the loudest shit in the block. You know what I mean? And that leave you with that shit. Like if you try to pull up on some bullshit, you might have the Nina. You don't know. I mean, it's the hood, you know. I feel like if I give people too much of myself, I lose too much, you know. And it's the element of when you're an artist, obviously you're public property, but like there's certain elements of myself that I just feel like I don't need to stress about. I don't need to look hard for niggas. Real niggas know what I've done. Real niggas know when they pull up in Maglera, we really be in the trenches. We really be with certain type of people. Even Cooley knows like he enjoys partying with me in Maglera because we hit like the hoods where like a dude like him wouldn't understand that this guy does this. But now if I say, yo, dog, just check out for that guy because he's a pickpocket, he's my boy, you know? And then maybe the homie comes through and he greets Cooley and he takes Cooley's wallet and he's like, you niggas are play, you understand? So it's like all of that culture, what I'm really trying to do is like find a way to make it dope for people to understand that because this is all we had, this is the culture that is us. But there is no element of encouraging kids to become criminals. There is no element of saying dudes must join gangs. It's more like sitting with people and understanding why they became what they became. I can now speak the narrative of saying this is the root cause of it, and this is why this exists. And it's the same reason why I speak their language, so that they know there's someone who understands. And every time I chill with them, they teach me so much of it, bro. I feel like if I was in the type of dude I was, I could 6ix9ine niggas crazy because of like the stuff that I've known from my youth, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the PTSD that comes from the street culture, you know, that comes from like in high school, we once saw a dude get thrown over a balcony, you know, dude died on the spot, just like seeing bodies, you know, stuff like that. It's like, it also says to me, tell dudes who are saying, I got the 9, or I'm trapping, like, if he's capping, you have to call it out, because it's like, bro, don't talk on stuff that you don't know, because it's like, you don't know how many kids you're encouraging to do that because of how you were saying it too. If you knew the truth about it, then you would articulate it differently, because you would understand that like there's a certain way you speak on stuff that's like of that gravity. I see there's a homie here. He fighting like a motherfucker. I don't know what's wrong with him, man, but it's all love, bro.
Don't worry, that's his thing. He does it all the time. He does it on every live, you know. Yo,
What's up, bro?
yo, what's up? What happened?
I literally just had my boy go get me another charger because this one fucked out.
I'm like, you got all the illegal shit out there, but you don't have a charger. You've got
Yeah, and
level 3. You got level 3 goods, but you don't have like a charger. What's happening?
bro,
During level 4,
here's
you
my
got
boy.
level
He
3
he just got
supplies.
it.
Yeah, super love.
He literally just copped this shit for me and landed. He saved my life. He saved my life. But my bad.
Shout out,
I just plugged
shout
it.
out.
I just plugged it in again so it could get some power.
All right, now it's all good, B. It's all good. You know, we
For
in.
sure. So yeah, where were
Yo,
we?
man. Yo, you were saying a lot though, you know, which is but like I think one of the things I wanted to ask you is that like you know the movie Goodfellas?
Yeah.
I was like, right, what does a Goodfellas joint sound like? Who do you feature if you were gonna do a Goodfellas joint right now?
Stogie, for sure, for that Don essence. Cooley,
Uh-huh.
because he's like the old head, and Mega, just for like, you know, if I'm like going ultimate. I mean, Goodfellas is a very big deal. And if it's not them, it would have
No,
to be,
let's go strata with it. Let's go strata with it.
if I'm going strat, I would go for Apu, I would go for Youngster, and I would go for Big Hustle on the hook, you know. I would go for MT on the chorus, just for like that like suave street element, because he does that really dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's dope. I just wanted to see your mainstream collaboration, and
For
your
sure.
Strata collaboration. You know what I
For
mean? I
sure.
just
I
look
see a lot of
on
people
the
in the
scene.
comments saying 25 too. And with me and 25K, it's just like him and I are like we gel so good. I feel like it's something that we would do like once in a while because we don't want it to become like complacent, you know?
Well, I do hear a lot of that 25K talk with you and him, and I'm just thinking that like maybe you guys need one day, once you settled your own solo stuff, you need to do a best of both worlds, you know, Strata sa
Yeah, for
Pretoria
sure.
and Strata
For
sa
sure.
Maglera. You know what I
For
mean?
sure. And he is a cesspool of culture too, bro. When I'm chilling with him, like I learned so much about Pretoria culture that what up, Speedster? I see Speedy just landed.
What up?
I
What
see
up?
Fred Pack in the building too, you
What
know.
up, Brad
I,
Pack?
I see
Yeah.
my boy Willie Estilio's been in the comments showing mad love. Shout out that nigga Fuego Santana. Shout out, shout out, who else am I messing with crazy? Messing with Champagne 69. I actually just did something with Lonely Blade, and he's crazy too. But you know, with the youth, bro, if I could do like a project with the youth, I think it would be like a double side because everyone is so dope. Focalistic is crazy right now. Gemini is like, I feel like Gemini is about to fuck shit up right now too. Tejo with this Diff Jam shit, I feel like he's about to like really grow his wings. So different sounds, different plugs, you know. I feel like it's different realms that you visit with different people. So you have to be there with people who know how to navigate the sounds.
You know, I was interested to see the type of people you'd want to collaborate with because it's almost like um, I'm thinking that you wouldn't collaborate with certain people because of I don't know, there's this authenticity that you bring to the game. So I'm thinking that even the type of people that you'd want to collaborate with, you'd always want to collaborate with people that you're like on some he's a real nigga. But it seems like you're also very musically inclined. Your decisions are very musically inclined also.
For sure. For sure. Fluidity is very key with any feature before even who it is like the option, you know. It's like, okay, even if like this is the sound that I can do with this person, are we gonna like gel dope, you know? It's a very big element. So
Okay,
sometimes it's just organic. Sometimes it's just organic.
because you know you did say your earlier interviews you were always like yo just bashing the game or bashing certain
Yeah.
people in the game.
Yeah.
I mean for me it's a big thing to actually like cut away the because it's a mentality, you know, it's like a hating mentality to a certain
For
extent.
sure.
Like it's a big what was the thing that literally opened up your eyes and said nah actually that is not the way to go. You know, there's the street shit, the real shit, there's the music shit. If
For
in my
sure.
head, for me in your head, it looks like you've divided the street shit and the music shit like into two pieces, and you know how to navigate them, and you want to know how to navigate the music shit and the street shit. So that's why you know you're not putting those walls anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like also it's from when I was young, I didn't understand like the repercussions of that energy because um it would be that thing of like I am the only one in the family who was like really putting the moves, right? So I be chilling with dudes like maybe I just came back from Joburg. I was messing with Fred Mercury a lot when I started, right? So Fred would always put me on like low key with like hype or like they'd bring me out to some shows to say, yo, let's introduce you to such and such. And every time I'm coming back home and I'm telling dudes would be like, yeah, 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 but like fuck that rapper because you got more bars. And then I didn't see it as like just dudes haven't been outside enough to understand that like what I'm seeing there is not really what we see it like when we're at home, you know? So when I started seeing like the human element of people to say, yo, dudes actually work really hard on this shit. Some of them, some of them might not have like the same style of rapping or articulation, but it's like when you see how much they put into the product, that is what you see on TV. It's like it's not easy to do. It's not easy to be playlisted. It's not easy to have a top 5 record. It's not easy to hook up the budget for a video. You understand? So I was like, nah, I can't really be knocking dudes, you know? The only thing I can do is like voice my opinion if I feel like the music is regressive, because I got nephews and nieces bumping the music. So sometimes I want to say, yo, can't we just like bump up the standard a bit, or not speak about certain stuff in a certain way, because it's like, you know what it does to the kids.
So part of your task is actually, because you said something very amazing. When you've never left your space, you
Yeah,
literally have an opinion based on perception. Your energy is based on perception.
for
Um,
sure.
with where you are now, it's your job to also teach the people around you about the work that also comes with, being in the game. Because you said something like, I was watching your interview with the Sobering, and you were saying, um, you know, criminals, like thieves or criminals, are not stupid. To a certain
For
extent,
sure.
also the most successful artist is also not stupid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have that
And
job of now teaching both those worlds, yeah?
yeah, and it's like home is like it's like a fishbowl. But before I say that, yo, I niggas are saying Dimples is in the building. Shout out Dimples. You know, this is
Shout out
crazy,
to
bro.
Nichols. Yeah. And
um,
and Uncle Party Time is here. Tilly's
oh
here,
shit.
also, you know what I mean? We got some
Shout
great
out
people.
Party Time. Who else is here?
And Tilly.
Oh shit, that's crazy. Tilly showed love the other day, even, you know, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was just showing me like the reach of the music, even though it might not be like immediately when we move it. Sometimes it's like, even if it gets to like the core base and then it gets to the good taste makers in the game, by the time we're following up, it will always be like another taste maker saying, "Yo, check this out," and then that's like maybe 10 more people checking it out. But in terms of the fishbowl mentality that I had to really grow from, you know, it also came from me being alone that side. So now, because I don't have that squad that is saying, "Yo, forget this. I'm alone, so I can think clearer, and I have to think about how I'm maneuvering because I'm still coming to Joburg on my own." Versus like now I can bring the whole set just so I can feel safe, and I can bring some of my boys so that I can put them on in some situations, you know. But it's like ultimately when I saw that, yo, we don't know anything. Like we might be like really dope, but we don't know much up until we like learn the entire scope of the game, which is where niggas is at now. Where niggas is starting to see like, oh shit, this is a marathon. It's not a race, you know. No matter how hard you come through sprinting, you might like break your ankle and then you have to like look back a bit like, oh shit, I came through too hard and I was talking shit about everyone because I thought I was Usain Bolt, and then I sprained my ankle as soon as they hit that like clock.
Let me ask you a
Longevity
question.
is very key.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Two quick, like it's between, from Maglera's perspective, right?
For sure.
You obviously talk about like you got like parents that are selling like weed in the hood, and you never know
Yeah.
whether they've got a nine. So you don't sit and try change a world that's literally got a life of its own if you're in a public
Yeah.
platform. Do
Yeah.
you is it you the decision of trying to change and educate, or how to move smarter in this world that you are in, basically?
It's
So
it's
I'm not going
both.
to try to make you not stop selling weed, but this is how you move smarter. Which lessons do we teach?
It's more about giving them the idea of like there's more to it than this, you know. If this is how you're gonna start, I mean, I can't take that from you. It is what it is. But at the end of it, I would be happy if I say it on a record I did with Toby Mac now. I say the only way young niggas buy back the block is if we take the bricks and we build with them. You understand? And this may be like in a metaphorical sense, but it's like we can each find our way to take that. Just like I can take the mentality of, we used to like leave school after school, right? And I would go to the arcade and I'm playing like Mortal Kombat, King of Fighters, and I'm selling like 10 packs, 20 packs of weed. And I'm learning business. I'm learning how to introduce people to something and to say, yo, you can get it for free today. Just go tell your people about it. But ultimately, don't stay there, you know, and just make it as less toxic as possible. You understand? I mean, dudes are selling booze, dudes are selling guns. People all have businesses that contribute a bit to what hurts the world. But ultimately, the vision is to like not need to do that and just leave something as pure as possible. There has to be a way to make good for all the toxic content that is poured out when you're coming up and you don't have like a good place to start, you know?
And is that what you want to actually be an example of as an
Yeah,
artist coming
yeah,
from the hood?
that's the mentality. Even when I'm with the boys, I feel like that's why I still come back to the hood, and I am not forced to go chill with the boys by the corner. But it just feels better when I'm like, yo, what's up, gents? How y'all doing? And then I'll ask my boy, yo, what's up with like the plan? Are you niggas still want to sell dope for like another year? Like, can't niggas open like a bodega or something and just like elevate from that? You understand? And the one thing I always tell black people more than anything is we really need to not sell each other like drugs, you know? Like, I'm not saying we should give it to everyone else, but it's like there's so much of it in the hood. Can't we find something else to do? Except for weed, though. I feel like weed is still something that, like, once the system has been worked out and people start understanding the herb element of it, we can, like, take it out of that bracket that is the same as this guy sold crack, but this guy, a dude who sells weed is harmless, bro, really harmless. Most dudes who be selling weed are like your day-to-day people. You know, it's just people who really just started with it because it's easy to access. It makes day-to-day money, you know. And more than anything, the link-ups that came from selling weed for a dude like me is the reason why I had friends in town and I could hang out with some people because I was the one who would bring the weed from town because dudes are cheese boys. You can't step out his house. See that because he's in the burbs. There's no place more at that time. Maybe now because now there's like delivery culture, there's coffee shops where people can go blaze. But it's like I'll always get a bit better about like, yo, so what about the kid who was like me, who got arrested and now he has a criminal record, but now it's illegal to sell weed if you have a coffee shop? Like, what makes it different right now, you know? So some of the things in the system aren't really built for us up until we find a way to build it for ourselves, you know? So it's about taking what we have from our backgrounds and really making it like a business, no matter what it is. If niggas can run a gang, niggas can run a record label. If niggas can run a gang, niggas can open a business, you know, because that's assimilation. That is controlling people and managing what they go get in the trap and deciding what they're selling and what they're keeping. And if they can do that, then what's to say if a dude wasn't from a different background, he wouldn't have been the kid you're seeing trending for opening a business, and he's the black kid on Twitter making everyone believe that you can do this, you know?
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I think also that comes with, like you say, if you can sell like weed and build something out of that and make it a business, you can run a label. That also just says we just need to also start making our own rules for what a label is,
Yes, you know,
because
and what a gang is. I always tell
yeah,
dudes are always like, yo, bro, so are you a gangster? Because we hear you calling OND a gang. I'm like, no, it's a gang because it's a group of people who have one mission, and it's a gang because we're fighting something. You understand? Sometimes I call it an army because there are so many militant elements to it. So it's like sometimes what you call people automatically now class it. But if we were using a different jargon for it, people would respect it a bit more. So it's about like finding that balance, you know? It's as simple as Rock Nation was once like dudes rapping at the corner, calling themselves a gang, to like Rock Nation is like a lifestyle. It's like Blue Magic now. Jay-Z stands behind it, you know, 100%. And even though it comes from a background of this sort, because of the time that they took to refine it and make it a brand and still keep the elements that made them remember where they come from, you know, that authenticity is what made it Rockefeller.
yeah. Now check it. I don't know if this live is gonna cut us because we've been going for an hour, but we might just need to come back if it cut us because you disappeared a bit, you know.
For sure.
But while we on that, you know, I just wanted to and just check if your phone is charging, dog. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Niggas just send that
What?
message too.
Yeah, I just read it now. I just read it now. So I wanted to actually like ask you. Already, you kind of like have a principle of let's not sell the drugs to our own people. You know, the problem with principle a lot of times is that principle is seen like privilege. You know,
Yes.
so another guy who doesn't have anything, and actually his clientele is the guy in the hood, goes, why does this nigga think that like he's better, and he thinks I shouldn't sell to that person. That's my, already you've got that thing. As you grow and you become bigger as Maglera, the artist, the superstar, your principle will one day be seen as privilege, and
Yeah,
some
because
cats are
I'm
gonna
not
be like,
on that corner. I'm hood with him when he's making those decisions. So the only answer I would have for any dude saying that is like, yo, bro, I did that too. But it's like as soon as I started finding a way to like not do that and do this, and when I also found purpose, like one thing that black kids should always understand is the repercussions of what we do are really like in the spiritual. It's always been in our culture. And I always tell dudes in the hood, you must understand how rich is and drugs go kasi. Something it might not be now. If these kids run up on your house when you're sleeping one of these nights and they decide to like take your TV and rob you and take all the product you have, it's not because niggas are haters, it's because that's what comes with where you at. And the less we have that energy is the more we can progress. And when I say dudes need to stop selling drugs to black kids, is because in other communities, people say, yo, why are you messing up our people? Like if I'm in a Muslim community and I'm chilling with my boys and I see how much they really don't be doing that to each other. The bottle stores are in town where the black people is at. The trap houses are in town where the Negro kids have the most access. I was telling a dude the other day, I'm like, my neighborhood is like 5 minutes away from a kid getting any drug he wants, even if he's like 14 years old, 15 years old. And up until we just have an environment that is less accessible to a kid, just like when we're going to the suburbia, that is the other communities, we won't know where to go from there. And I'm not trying to be a bigot and tell people to just stop doing what they're doing. No, I'm just saying, here's just a thought for you to put in the back of your mind for when you're thinking of how else you can do it. It's better than not speaking about it. I feel like I'd rather say it, so I said it than I didn't say it. And then it's like, no, you are part of it. You were just chilling there when you could have been the one to say, gents, I was on Hype Magazine. I was 15 years old. I was selling weed. But like when I was 19 years old, I wasn't selling weed anymore. And you saw me on TV. That itself speaks. So it's like, come on, some things you don't need to explain too much. It
yeah.
is what it is. If niggas are trapping, niggas must trap so that they out the hood. They mustn't trap so they stay in the hood, or so that the hood stays like it is. It should always be for the progression of the Negro kid. If we're gonna make a sacrifice and sell anything to a Negro, it should be for the preservation of the next Negro. It can't be for us to stay here but you shining. It's like, no, then it's like regressive, and it's like then people have the right to like snitch and stuff like that. It's not doing us any good.
Man, I love your mind, bro. I mean, someone says I must ask you about Credo and what he meant to you, because you said R.I.P. Credo on the freestyle. They just want to get your mind on that.
I mess with Cradle Muta a lot because of the Northwest and like the cradle of mankind. My father is a history teacher, and he just like drilled it into my head to what's this, like, be for the black people and learn as much as possible about black people. And he's just an element. He's not even like the entire scope of the type of content I be taking in that makes me say the stuff that I say. But he's just more of like the culmination of African spirituality. And when I found out about that man and some of his teachings, I mean, we all have our own minds. So I won't say I messed with everything he was saying, but you see, when he started speaking about us preserving our culture and going back in time so we understand how we got here, that's when I was like, okay, this is like an OG. And also in street culture, one thing that I can tell you I learned from chilling Lidisoti and the number, because the number is one of the oldest culture that's existing.
Hold up for a second, hold up. Sorry, man.
So
Kids, bro.
now, and being able to have like, yo, can you hear me? I don't know what.
Sorry, man. I had to just deal with my kids. It's a real thing here. When you're fertile,
For sure.
things. These are fertile issues.
Yeah,
Niggas,
that's why I'm not in a rush because a baby dope boy probably gonna be a problem, you know. But where were we? What were you asking again? We were talking about Credo, and
yeah, you were talking about.
I was
Yeah.
talking about my music is conscious street music, right? And it's conscious because when when I was in my youth, early teens, or let me say like early 20s, you know, 21, 22, I was still in that stage of chilling with my friends in the corner, and I didn't know what to do with all of that information. So I would regurgitate it in the music videos with wearing a DTs and just putting them behind me and they holding knives. And I thought that sufficed to speak for us. But as soon as I started like learning from like a Credo Mutua and also chilling with like a really old gangster because we're from a mining town, you know? So because we're from a mining towns have the most street culture ever because the number started in the mines, you know. And when they taught me elements from the number, which is now the story of why the number started, and it's 101 years old, you know. So imagine the information that is 101 years old that comes from the first militant Negroes that South Africa had before the ones that were documented in, but they documented it with their tattoos and they documented it with the slang and with the songs that they sing. And when they taught me that, then I was like, okay, here's the direction that I'm gonna take with the music, you know. And it's very Kendrick like, it's very Ice Cube like, you know. That's where I always see it, very like Vince Staples esque.
Yo, have you got any tattoos?
Nah, I don't fuck with tattoos. I said it
Thank
on
you.
a song even.
Okay,
I was
that,
like,
I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure because you just talked about the history of tattoos and how it plugged in and I really wanted to. I mean, look, I've never done a tattoo myself. I don't believe in that. You know, you come in. I'm gonna come in the way I came out, basically.
yeah.
That's
And
really my
I
point.
really felt like everyone wants to look hard, you know, so they can say I did this. So let me get a face tat, so niggas believe that I did this. But it's like blood. Pull up here, you know. I ain't got no face tats, but like you go to like the foreign nationals in the CBD, they'll tell you like, yo man, this nigga was here when he was a youngin'. He would take off his school jersey, wear a white shirt, chill with his friends. They'd smoke weed. Maybe one of them stole something at school. They'll sell it to the plugs. On the weekend, dudes are using whatever cash they had to stock some weed, sell weed. Monday, when everyone else is going to school, dudes are going to school, but break time, they jumping the fence. And I felt like I need something that is more than an aesthetic to speak for me, to say I did that. And I feel like whoever believes it will believe it, but whoever doesn't, it's fine because ultimately that's not what I'm selling. That's just a part of my story so that you know why I'm speaking what I'm speaking. But me not getting a tattoo is the same reason why I don't need to show certain people in my music videos anymore because it's like I feel like the music speaks for itself. And I might put someone in a music video because they really caught a body, but then now am I not like exposing them to the world and all the bad luck that will come with that because it's coming from like it looks like we're glorifying it, you know, versus me bringing my boy, the one that you just saw now, you know, the one who's chilling with me now, the one who went to go get the charger for me, and being able to say, yo, just greet them quickly. And niggas know just from the way he pulls up and says, hey, paso palapo. Then it's like, oh shit, nah, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to all the kids from my old school. I see them talking about jumping fences here. They know what it is.
Yo, B, man, you got some mad ass stories, man.
Yeah, somebody gotta hit my phone so I can do like a series with them, like Atlanta, bro. Because I feel like another thing that I could do is document street culture from the perspective of a kid who has been in that culture but can still articulate it dope in terms of like art, you know? Not a lot of people can do that. Sometimes they need to go get someone and write down those stories, but it's like, no. Niggas could take it as simply as like how do people package a certain substance, like stuff like that, like to the T. Niggas could break down elements of street culture that you can't get on Google, that you can't get on Rap Genius, that you can't get from watching a documentary. Like you have to have been in it to know that this is what it really is, you know?
I want
But
to
one
ask
thing,
you. I want to ask you. Sorry.
For
as
sure.
a as a as a as a as a and I'm not talking about what's happening in the world with
Tricky, exactly.
sorry. I was about to ask you. Damn, I just got interrupted by now.
Yeah,
Um,
shorties are saying they want to see my boy again. Oh, yeah,
well,
yeah,
you gotta show it. We can't see what you have.
yeah. Yeah.
Izo.
His name is Battalion.
Battalion.
Yeah, he say he a one man army. About jikijisika saluti machala baphamisa yizo baba.
Sure. Now,
I
sorry.
see they saying we should restart the live because it keeps freezing.
No. Don't worry. That's me. I'm just like getting calls. Like I was getting calls from the kids in the house. Now I'm getting outside calls. So like
Schools must just open, eh?
you know. Like, no, but we good. We good.
For sure.
What I was saying is that like if with all these stories that like you and I like what you're saying about the whole Atlanta stories and everything else. In the whole perspective of your music, when you're putting all these stories, and you just said now that do I put people on a video because I know he's done this or done that. Haven't gotten to a point where you're under pressure to do things for Cats in the Hood or do
Nah,
things for the
because
industry?
of the respect, it's like, bro, like niggas got so much love for me in the hood, right? When I'm broke, if I'm not rocking shows, if like the career is not working, I could pull up at a trap house and be like, yo, niggas, I need some weed, man. Y'all better do some, because when I pull up, I show mad love. Like, niggas must never get it twisted. My friends in the township don't treat me like a rapper. They see my music thing as something that I was given, you know? And especially because I come from a hood that's still big on like the culture of the olden people. So it's like by bona as something the ancestor. So it's not something that we must take and like manipulate. And every time I am putting them in my videos and stuff versus before. So before I would like be like, okay, I want to shoot a music video where I'm like, I got homies who do this. So let me go to that place where they do this and shoot with them there. But God forbid, by the time I bumped into like a Cooley and a Fred and a Jay Kayembe specifically, there's something he said to me when I was still in high school, and he was like, you need to find a way to take the place where these things happen and shoot in it, but remove all of the elements that might be too much for someone to digest this. So when that happened, then I just started learning how to like one make the gents in the hood respected, because that's probably how it looked to them too. Like, yo, we can pull up in this video and just be reckless because that's what we get to do every time we're with them. But I was like, no, what I'm trying to show people more is the street culture that is Maglera Doe Boy, and why when I'm on stage I really move like that. Why when I say yeah, it really sounds like that street bravado, because that's what I got from the homies, because that's how we walk when we're walking to the bodega. You know what I mean? So it's like ultimately, bro, I feel like as soon as I learn how to mix the street culture and dash it with the suave that is the dope way that people don't know, it's gonna be a very nice link up. But like where I'm at right now, unless if I'm not learning how to do that, then it would have like very bad repercussions in terms of like home, because then every time I came back home, I would have to deal with now the street culture elements that are like niggas saying, yo, you owe us this because we did this, versus me saying, yo, what y'all doing today? Why don't y'all dress up, put the knives away, and just come be in a video with me? Let's be fly.
And that's it. That's exactly what I was saying, because it's about balancing that so that never comes back where cats are like, yo, you owe
Yeah,
us this and that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now I
Because
took I took some time to like just like see how I do that, because it's like when you're someone like me who is like, I don't want to be a martyr. As much as I'm speaking for the street culture at home, I do not want to be a martyr when I still want to do so much for myself and the people that I love. So So when I started having those type of thoughts and people just coming at me like, yo, just watch how you do this thing of yours, because if you go too deep into it, this is what's gonna come from it, you know? Once I just digested that and found a way to do it, that's how you get the tape with me in 25K, where we can speak about street culture, but it's still fly, you know? It's not like, oh my God, these guys, they sound so reckless, they sound so like I don't want to 6ix9ine my boys, you know, and I don't want to 6ix9ine myself too.
I wanted to ask you this question. Now, remember what I wanted to ask you before I got cut. Now,
For
I
sure.
was saying, forget everything that's happening and who works with what brand.
Yeah.
Maglera, what brand literally is a Maglera brand that you think that like complements Maglera?
Ish,
As a
dog, we
street
have
nigga
to.
from Maglera, what compliments you? What brand? Is there anything?
Um, if we're talking them pasas, if we're talking them pasas, then it's definitely like a Nike. I mean, I'm a dope boy, white T boy, so I took from that blueprint so much that I would still want to follow the dope boy blueprint and just like do it in a South African sense, you know. If we're
Yeah, yeah,
talking, if we're talking, if we're talking like whips, you know, I'm old school, so I'm still like, you know, with the V dub culture because of my boys in the hood. With the BM dub, I still get like a Kush Makesh and still see what those brands are doing now, new age, where we could take it into street culture too. But I feel like anything that we've seen in South African street culture, I could bring back or popularize because of how much I embody that.
mm, mm,
So I
mm.
can't really pick a specific one, but I'll tell you what I was telling this dude who him and I were talking about just like me linking up with brands and how he can like do that for me. And I was saying to him, I want any brand that Maglera Doe Boy works with to be like an SABC one ad when they were doing Mzansi for sure. You know, like it must be so hood. You mess with it immediately when you check it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Regardless of which brand it is. Even if I'm working with a Louis Vuitton, it has to be Louis Vuitton in the township or for the township kid up until I am out of that element and I can know now how to like move it to the wider people that I'm speaking to. Because right now I'm speaking to the people that how can I say, I'm speaking to the people that I feel like understand, and I am yet to see like it grow bigger than where we've based it because of what the content is right now.
Yo, man. I mean, we definitely need to catch up. We need to sit properly, you know, and get this
You
thing going.
you you need to
And
give
have
me a
this.
verse, bro. I don't know if you're still rapping, but I'm still trying to get that phantom slicker, you know.
Oh, by
I
the way,
was bump.
I want to applaud you on your, sorry to cut you. I want to applaud you you a student of the game, man. You know,
Yeah,
I really,
yeah.
really love that. You know, you literally like know the game and like it's you're a student across the board. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I don't think that a lot of people don't understand what really is the thing about Maglera. It's like it's one thing to have this talent, but when you're a student of history, culture, the culture you're interested in, the culture you live in within your society, then you just become this powerful force. By the time you get on a song, people are actually not even just checking the song. You just have so much wealth. You know, we can speak credo, we can speak the hood, you know, we
What
can
up,
speak
Bash?
hip hop knowledge. You know what I mean?
For
Um,
sure.
you know, you are well of information, B. So
So
yeah,
I
I mean,
tell you how that happened, right? Let's go back in time a bit. Let's talk about how Maglera Doe Boy came into life. 2004. I go to a primary school and I link up with my boy. His name is Tumelo, but I call him Stum Cash or Cash. He's ONDE too. And he's like, "Yo, bro, can you rap?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, I can actually sing because I used to sing by the church here." And my brother was rapping, but my brother wasn't so good with English. So I would take his raps, go to school, edit them, and compete with dudes. And then hype drops, hype sessions volume one. And then it's like, and it's just like Flubber the Man, Squatter Cam, Representer, Spin Off Spin, hype sessions volume one, you know? That changed everything. I was like, okay, now we have our own different type of like rappers, different hoods, different culture. And then I was like, I really want to be a part of this. So I started refining the pen, right? And I just didn't know that this would mean so much to the culture in the future because I still have those hype tapes, you know? And I still remember like a Once Upon a Time in Africa from Stogie. Every year, I tweet him that song. He still never retweeted but I know my feelings. It's all love.
Don't worry,
But
he gonna catch up. He gonna
yeah,
catch
yeah,
up.
but I mean more about that song, not about like me as a rapper. Like every year, I tweet him to say, "Once Upon a Time in Africa" is the best hip hop song, in my opinion, that has came out of Africa about Africa. Because I was a kid, but it gave me the mentality that made me the conscious Negro I am now, and that's the vision. If you can leave one record like that in the culture that gives birth to like a Maglera Doe Boy, then I'd be happy if I did the same. But I remember everything, bro, and it's so fun for me to link up with you guys and say, "Yo, bro, the verse, like the verse you dropped on we're on our own now. We're the type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
brothers
yeah.
who can drink at any bar now." I was a kid.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
nothing about being at the bar, but I feel like I got the message of what you guys were saying. And I remember Salvin's verse. I hated it so much because I used to feel like, why is this guy being so like comedic when the gents are speaking? But now when I hear it, like I consume it so much differently because I'm older now. So the content touches me different. Which is why I want to make
Yeah.
timeless music too. So sometimes people can get a punchline after like 15 years to say, "Damn, bro, it took me 15 years to get that bar."
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
fun element of hip hop, because if you're making people think, then you're teaching them, because automatically they have to go to the references you're using in the content. And that is the education that was always hip hop, which is why I fight so much about the standard and the regressiveness of like some of the hip hop that we have in general in the culture of hip hop. And I used to be a part of these hoes hip hop. I used to be a part of fuck these niggas hip hop. But now I feel more that I want to be a part of these black boys in the hood and these little black girls in the hood. And I still want to be the militant township Negro and say, but don't pull up on me, because this was going to happen, because respect begets respect. But at the same time, disrespect begets the latter. And that's just a mixture of what hip hop did for me, street culture. And I'll tell you one thing people don't know that I used to do. I used to dance to like house music, like Bopanzula, Bobo, and I was really good. We had a dance crew. It was called BBFG, Boys Born for Gulas. I was like really doing my thing, bro. I wanted to be on Giga my Giga, blood. Like I had a lot of time to have fun in the township as a township kid, and hip hop was just something that I always went back to so much that it just reminded me that ultimately, as a black kid, this is what you must strive for.
You've got tons, man. You got tons of this gift, man. And so I mean, on that joint, Joe, send me a beat, man. Let's go. I want any excuse to rap right now. You know what
Yeah,
I
for
mean?
sure. And when we do it, I want it to be in a sense that like I see now there's like I see now there's a hip hop museum in South Africa, right?
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like a dude like me telling a youngster of this generation about the old hype sessions is so that they understand the relevance of. Shout out my boy Bulalani. Bulalani is my first and only manager that I've ever had. Actually, I just saw him in the comments now. He remembers. But back to what I'm saying about, it's so important for the kids in South Africa to know where we come from, so they understand why a Sliqe is like really important to the game, even from the gate. If they understand what Squatter Camp did for the culture, if they know what like it felt like when you were watching like the Simu in your playlist and they just playing like mad American hip hop, and then you just hear like boom, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom, do, 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 do. It's like, oh shit. Yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
you get
yeah.
like a crew of like 6 dudes, and each of them are rapping differently. I remember like Onumoya, I think Infa's verse was like the hardest for me, because he was like, I'm going to got a camp to
Short niggas
reload. I was
love
like, oh
short niggas.
shit.
That's all I know. Short niggas love short niggas. I don't even know what he was saying. Short niggas just love short niggas. Go ahead.
I feel like you're in your feelings because he killed all of y'all.
Nah, the hottest verse on that thing is still Kwasuka loco.
Okay,
Yo, that
okay,
verse
no cap,
is
no cap. That was
that
a
verse.
crazy opening. That was
Yo,
a
that verse.
crazy
I
opening.
tell you, you take down the volume for that verse, and the crowd and people had never heard like rap. It was an aggressive verse, you know what I mean? But like it's on
And
this like bumpy beat, you know what I mean?
and my question is, did he come up with the energy for the song? Like him opening? Is that what now made you guys like follow up? Or
No, no, no. You know what it is? We don't even we work on a yo, that shit is whack, y'all. We tell each other that shit is whack. You know what I mean? So how it goes is that he started this song and the chorus was Umona. And I came and I heard that song. I said, nigga, why?
Umona?
You know, let me tell you, this shit don't stop. When people start getting famous, they get paranoid and they say everybody hates them. So Squatter Camp had a whole 15-track album where we were telling everybody, fuck you, you hating us because we now successful. Now we make, so we had a whole album like that. And I was like, fuck that shit. We're not going to do an album like that. We're going to
So,
do a
bro,
happy
that
album.
song
And let's
used to
not,
go Umona,
that's,
Mona.
that's it. And I
Oh
said,
shit.
no, nigga, I love how you got this shit, but we're going to say Moya. And we said Moya, and that's how that shit went. And
For sure.
that was Nemza's first vernacular verse. Now Nemza saw what Manyisa did, Manyisa with Flabber and Bossa.
Yeah.
Which Bossa literally kicked that like Manyisa verse. And then when he heard that verse, we were like, yo, fuck this always English rap. So that was
Yeah.
Nemza's first vernacular verse. And he mastered it and he just did it so well. And we never even knew that would happen.
And this is around about that time when that Kwaito record that was dissing hip hop was like in the mix, right?
Yeah, Makoporosh.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And so can you imagine we the only I was also saying when we were rapping, there wasn't like it wasn't like there was Casper, there was AKA, there was Ricky Rick, there was KO
But
on the
that's just
same
like-
level. You know? It was
For
like
sure.
Squatter Camp is the only group that's like on that level. So when we were being hated on, we were hated by everybody. Kwaito,
For sure.
so that's why, you know, we wanted to do this album to say, fuck everybody, fuck the industry, fuck, you know what I mean? And we're
But you know
like,
what's crazy for me, bro? You know what's really crazy for me? Like, is Kwaito not rhythm and poetry? You know?
I mean, well, I'll tell you what Kwaito is, and I'll tell you what hip hop is. Hip hop,
Yeah.
and that's why for me, I'll always be interested in hip hop, whether it's trappy, whether it's doing whatever. Hip hop is almost like the first voice that young people have to express themselves, and
For
that's
sure.
what Kwaito did for Oskido and them when they were selling hot dogs at Razzmatazz. That's what
For
Kwaito
sure.
did for Arthur and him when he was a dancer cutting hair. When they say, "Don't call me a gaffer," even if it was just one sentence, that shit was literally saying, yo, it's just 94, it's just become 95, don't call me a gaffer. Them niggas were
For
saying,
sure.
I'm not a gaffer anymore. Those niggas were the first niggas to be independent, to talk their shit on a song without a white A&R telling them that, no, but you can't say gaffer. Them niggas were bossing, you know what I mean? So,
For sure.
so for me, hip hop,
That
that's
song
what
is the
hip-hop
equivalent to Fuck the Police.
Fuck the police. Exactly. It is.
For
So
sure.
for me, hip hop is not a sound, but it's the freedom it gives young people.
It's a culture.
And
It's a culture.
it's the culture. And now when young people master it, it's the money it gives them also.
For
Do you know
sure.
what I mean? So
For
for
sure.
me, that's my thoughts of hip hop. It's not a sound. As long as it's black and literally like it's literally going against like a system that's suppressing. And then once we've gone against the system that's suppressing, we literally like move ourselves from the historical suppression where white people put us in the ghettos, and now we can literally make money from it, so we can make a choice where we want to live. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? So for me, that's hip hop across the board.
So when I hear you speak like that now, I feel like dudes have always said like, yo, South African hip hop, South African hip hop. But it's like we had South African hip hop. And then like you like Lil Rona as my nigga, if I'm being honest, you know. The only thing that saved Rona my nigga, Mumzanzi, ke bo motho wako. one taller. And it's like Motswako will still be so close to Kwaito. It just takes like me taking a mapaputi and putting them on the second verse. Then it's like, yo, bro, is this a rap record or a Kwaito record? Or like me taking a Bravo or Pitch Black, or me taking all three of them and Kumshev. And you see those elements like that's where I got my flows too, you know, from like Bravo, Kumshev, Mapaputi, Pitch Black Afro. Who else did I mess with really in the Kwaito? Bricks, you know. Bricks is floppy and shit. But yeah, you know, like just diamond say, Bayinziki repe the wiki repa, one taller. As much as I can give my consciousness to hip hop, and I can give my suave to hip hop. The element that makes people love the hood about me so much did not come from American hip hop. It came from what I saw as South African hip hop, which was the first time I saw Kumshev on TV. They had a song called Hosh, you know, and like it wasn't like I saw Pretty did Hosh Now Again. I love that version with him in Youngster because that's wild for like a dude to make a record called Hosh and really be saying like Hosh on a song like that in this day and age when like in Cape Town niggas are banging like that, you know. And obviously you can't say something like that unless you've got like the backing up it or you've got the understanding of street culture so that when you bump into someone and they say Hosh and you can like reiterate to them what you're supposed to say after someone says Hosh. But when a Kumshev did it, it was so raw because now dudes were like in a prison and they're really saying like stuff that resonates with the number because they're saying like Hustanjele 8, Charlie's keeper great. Like that's like straight prison talk. That's not even like for like the commercial game. You understand? And that's the same reason why I feel like if we don't teach the kids what Squatter Camp did or what a Lymphatic Tabs did or what a Bravo and a Pitch Black and a Mapuputi did in terms of like Nguni raps for that side. Because I'm from the Northwest, you know. When we heard like a Jabba, when I heard like a Noti, Elementally Hippie, Cass, who else? When I heard like a Mete, and a Mete is like from like the Free State. I don't really know much about him. But when we started finding hip hop that identified with who we were, you know, it was so exciting. And before all of that, the closest to it was Kwaito, because the hip hop on TV that was even South African was still sounding so American. Like that record Bob Mabena did, that was like that Will Smith song. What's that song though?
Yeah, Get Funky.
I can see that was your record just by the way you bobbed.
No, I hear you with that record with the passion. I was like, is this the shit they played on TV and they don't play this? Oh hell no. I hated Bob Mabena.
But how much hip hop did you guys have there? You know, like if someone in my age group were to say, how far can you guys take back the culture of hip hop in SA? What can you say was the first exposure to South African hip hop? Was it POC? Was it Bob Mabena with Get Funky? Is it like America, where the first hip hop was to come out were actually people who were just taken in the streets by A&Rs and people were like, yo, you could become a rapper, but you must copy these people from America, but like, we'll tell you what to do. Well, was it like someone from like straight hip hop who just came out and just had a nice deal and they represented hip hop so dope that they opened the floodgates for hip hop in SA?
Well, I mean, and I'm going to answer your question by telling you something that you just said now. We, unfortunately, as kids, we also had a fishbowl mentality. So we hated on things that we never understood.
For sure.
So at the time, we did probably hate like the Kwaito. Do you understand? We never understood. We never understood what Oskido and them and Arthur and them actually have done by dropping a song called "Don't Call Me a Kafir," and when Kala was going, oh yeah, you know, when they're going yo, those brothers of you, and they were cursing and talking all that shit. We never knew how they literally broke so many rules from maybe Brenda Fassie, who was singing Weekend Special, and they were all safe with the music. We never knew that these guys had broken the rules.
For sure.
Until you get in the game and you go, God damn, these guys never broke the rules, just broke the rules. These guys actually like broke the rules and put in blackness in the rules and put in the
for sure
in the rules. You know what I mean? It's almost like through music they fought for the streets,
For
right?
sure.
So my first like interaction with local hip hop was obviously POC, Black Noise, in my hood, Ekatlohong, there was a group called Karamo. You know what I mean?
For
When they talk
sure.
about rap music, there's a group called Karamo. There was
Yeah.
probably, I mean, a lot of people argue that Snyaka was also already rapping, which it's not far fetched because Snyaka was literally like looking like a rapper and always talking shit.
But
You know what I
bro,
mean?
can we just talk about how much Senyaka was like wavy? Like, and when I say
Snyaka was
wavy, I mean like, dog, he had so much fun musically, and he was taboo in a lot of in a lot of places in the township because some of the stuff that he was saying, people would feel like it's blasphemous. Because there's a music video he shot where he was like, you remember that song, Yeah, Ile Romeo da, or
yeah.
Romeo mo kolta chelete. And
But
then
in
there's another
another
one
world,
where
in
he
another
goes
world,
to
Snyaka.
Romeo's grave.
But
But he,
forget the
he broke
songs. Forget the
boundaries too.
songs. Forget the songs. Like he was making like movies. In another
For
world,
sure.
Snyaka could have been like Ice Cube, maybe. In
Yeah,
another world.
what if Sinyaka was like the trap who's the dude with the shades? He's just Spike Lee, you know? What if Sinyaka was like Township Spike Lee, blood?
Not even Spike Lee. I'm saying, remember Ice Cube was a rapper, Boys in the Hood, then his
For
TV's
sure.
making comedy. Snyaka could have easily been that guy in another world.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean? That nigga was progressive. And it's
For
another
sure.
thing I also say where, even when I was hating on Bob Mabena, but I never understood. This nigga Bob was presenting on radio. He was on television. He was a car racer. He was racing with cars,
Car
He
racer.
was, yeah, Bob
Hold
Mabena was
up, dog.
literally like, was
Let's just chill
racing
there.
with cars.
I'm trying to hear about Bob Mabena and NASCAR. What you saying,
Yo,
Slick?
Bob Mabena was literally like out there and he had a car and he was racing on this F1, whatever shit. Now remember, this
In
is a
South
black guy.
Africa.
I don't know where they were doing it, but he had a car and that shit probably was expensive. Probably like that homie had just passed away. Bob Mabena, let me tell you, Bob Mabena was the most progressive. Let me tell you, and Bob Mabena was from Maftown, right? Or
Sure.
Botswana, but Bob Mabena probably was one of the most progressive black guys in a world that wasn't ready for black people to be that progressive. He
For
did
sure.
everything, that guy. You know what I mean? And he even rapped also. So today, being diverse, and because they say we're ADD kids, 1 minute he's doing this, but Bob Mabena as a dude was doing all those things that never allowed a black South African to be that diverse,
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then when you grow up and you go, that nigga, I'm not even car racing and it's 2020. What the fuck? Where was he getting that
Yeah,
type of money?
man.
You know what I mean?
Au bone ke hlanya so re ntle ke groot mane ba tlo tshela me mo Bob Mabena khala ba kena ko NASCAR mo Mzansi. Mo ke hlanya. Okay,
This nigga was incredible.
you know
So
what's
once you started
crazy
expanding,
right now?
yeah.
This just became my interview where I'm asking you questions, and it's so fun, bro, because I am such a
Nah,
sponge.
you know what? Fuck this. You know what? We gotta catch up. We gotta do this. We gotta have a sit down and we gotta chat.
For sure.
And I need to go to Maglera straight up.
Yeah, all y'all trying to pull up. Scoop was like, yo, dog, I'm trying to visit. But what I really want to do, which is why I have based myself in this place so much, and this comes from conversations with like Atira. When AKA introduced me to him, I had the chance to like pick his mind a bit about like how they did what they did with Durban, and it really just sounded like staying true to where you come from, right? And selling to people the idea of them coming to see that culture, you know? When the world is back to whatever it might be, I probably start hosting a lot in Maglera, shows that also suit the culture of home, So it's a full-on experience. Like I have this thing I do every time I bring gents to Maglera where I'll take Coolie to Alabama, which is like the Indian / colored community, and we'll start with haircuts. And then after I'll take them to Joburton, which is like our Soweto, where everyone parties, and that's where everyone really like how can I say, that's like the hood with the most infrastructure. So it's really fun in terms of like the type of places you can go eat at, the cuisine and stuff. And then when you come to my hood, it's just you seeing where I grew up, because it's not like a lot of infrastructure, but we do have a couple of landmarks that I could like take those to, just so you take in Maglera fully, you know? And then once you leave, you understand fully, okay, when he's rapping like this is because of this. It's like on Bodega, when I'm saying, bust more cousins with Ouijan moccasins and a sock secret. It's for the toes. You understand? A Ouijan moccasin is a boat shoe. But if it's a Sunday and I'm saying, yo, Sliqe, today, let's just, dapper up, because there's a spot that we go to in the hood where everyone comes to dapper and we party on a Sunday. Or if I'm saying, let's pull up to my boys in Alabama, let's go get fresh ass haircuts, And just for that day, that's like a drip day. And you can't come through lacking in a hood like that, because dudes are rocking like the Shans, dudes are pulling up with like the VW, hella clean, you know what I mean? And even my annual show, I have a show called The Function. I just didn't host it last year. But when I host those, hopefully I can get like some brands fucking with us this side, so they can invest in what is the culture here and just the stuff that happens here. There's actually like a lot of opportunity here. And me being someone who is in tune with people who are doing like the government stuff, I know about stuff like schools that are going to be built here and universities. So I know the potential that is this place. Ginger Trails Hood is right next to Maglera. It's an hour away. But from what I'm hearing, they want to make it like PTA and Josie, where it's like, even if you're in between, you really can't tell, but like it's like you're in both places when you're this side, So I know the business is going to be crazy here. And if I'm ever going to bring you guys to Maglera, it has to be for more than like a documentary, I want you to really take it in.
Yeah, sure, man. You know what? I think everything that's about to happen because you're trying to see where you can move your dough.
Yeah, for sure. It is what it is. That's why too many links.
Yo, my G, man, I appreciate this, man. Thanks for the call, man. And
for sure, let's I just want to show love with my boy, because him and I are gonna hit the trap after. But yo, so love from Maglera. ONDB the set. My name is Maglera Doe Boy. Shout out to everybody. Showing love. A lot of music on the way. Aren't you gonna play that song just before we log out?
I played that song while you were gone.
Okay.
But
I don't know if
Sunday. I'm gonna play it on Sunday properly on my show on live radio so they can hear it properly. Because
I'm not giving you the name, so it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll just make up a name for it.
Nah, Cap. Cap. All right, blood.
G, thanks.
One love.
Thanks a lot, man. One love.
Yeah,
peace,
pasó
man.
palapo.
Pasopa.
Lizo baba.
Hola.
Broadcast live